Lonzo Wilkinson grew up on the mean streets of Detroit, Michigan. To survive in that world, he decided to run with a gang. As his file card says, he was warlord of a large street gang. His two brothers were killed, and it was horrific for his family, but it was also the catalyst for him to get out of there, out of that situation, and find something better for himself. His answer? The United States Army. Before we begin, I want to thank you whether you're returning or it's your first time here for watching JLS Comics. Don't forget to subscribe. We upload videos just like this one every single week. Alright, let's get back to the video. Lonzo excelled in his military training, graduating at the top of his class for basic and graduating advanced infantry training before enrolling at Fort Benning and Ranger School, the same place that at one point Beachhead was a lane instructor at, and also Monterey's U.S. Army Language School, where he learned Spanish, Swahili, Arabic, French. Lonzo also went to Fort Holabird for Army Intelligence School. And there's a joke in there somewhere, but hey, don't come for me. That's a Stalker joke. You can see it right here. So anyway, Lonzo graduated from all his training and was deployed to Southeast Asia and specifically Vietnam. And it was here, along with Wade Collins, Snake Eyes, and Storm Shadow, and a couple others, that he served on LRRP, Long Range Recon Patrol. This is the time when they engaged the NVA in a nasty jungle-infused firefight where half the team was believed KIA, killed in action. Retreating to the LZ, Snake Eyes was hit by small arms fire and told Storm Shadow leave him. They had to evac, but Storm Shadow grabbed his friend and pulled him to the chopper. It was something that Wilkinson carried around with him for decades. The guilt of that, the guilt of having issued that order. It was later that Stalker was stationed in Barovia, and he was on a peacekeeping mission with his CO, an LT named Clayton Abernathy, codenamed Hawk. The team had received viable intel that there were explosives set up around a refugee camp filled with children. Stalker beat up one of the terrorists so badly to extract the location of the explosives from him that he nearly died. Both Hawk and Stalker got into serious trouble over the incident. Hawk backed Stalker up, saying he would have done the same damn thing. Hawk was court-martialed over it, charges were dropped, but the incident showed Hawk who Lonzo was, what his character was, what he stood for, and he became the first Joe chosen for the new Rapid Deployment Force, codenamed G.I. Joe. His secondary and tertiary MOSs utilize his linguistic training as an interpreter, and he's also a medic. He has a wide-ranging skill set. Stalker's first suggestion for a recruit was none other than his former LRRP teammate, the man he felt he owed, a man named Snake Eyes. During those early years on the team, Stalker was field commander and second only to Hawk. He was able to lead and control an ugly gang in the streets of Detroit, so surely he could handle these troops too, you'd think. In the first issue, the Joes are activated to rescue Dr. Burkhart, and Stalker starts strafing the beach with a freaking jetpack. It's a jump jet mobile propulsion unit, it's called. They rolled up, well, aquatically to this Caribbean island, and he strafes the beach from his aerial position, all while whistling Stars and Stripes Forever. And I'd reenact it, but I don't really want to get hit with a copyright. We went on leave after this mission. We went out hunting deer in Wisconsin, and actually it was these tracking skills that earned him the codename Stalker. And he likes hunting and camping out in the woods with furry animals. But he was called up on a mission which saw him run into Quinn near a Soviet research station. And when they busted in, Stalker quotes Dean Martin. So classy. He was also part of the team in issue 6 that first ran into the October Guard, and he met Colonel Breckhoff personally. Stalker posted up with a Mobat as shore defense for a shuttle at Cape Canaveral. An attack came from Cobra, who attacked with these weird War of the Worlds things. They were sea legs units, they're called. Stalker was on the Joe team that also first went into Sierra Gordo. He's a linguist. On that early mission, Stalker had a nasty run-in with an animal. He said, "It's no gator, this is a crocodile," and it badly injured him. The Baroness had just bombed the island and swept the waterways for survivors, so Stalker had to dip under the water with his teammates to avoid detection, and that's when it attacked him. In G.I. Joe 33, Stalker was promoted one pay grade along with the other OJs, the original Joes. I call them the OJs. They were there to be the new admin arm of the pit, but they really wanted to be where the action was, not entrenched behind a desk. They wanted to be out in the field, and they were. A time and a few issues later, Stalker returned to Sierra Gordo, and this time to rescue, again, Dr. Burkhart, that same lady they rescued in issue 1. And he was later part of the battle to push Cobra off of what would become Cobra Island, and which would eventually become embroiled in this massive civil war. After the first Cobra Island war, where Ripcord was injured, Stalker took Hawk to DC to watch over General Austin, where he's being treated, and they take some time to visit the Vietnam War Memorial. And here's where they meet Fred 2, Mr. Collins. In G.I. Joe 55, Snake Eyes was captured and held in Sierra Gordo, so it was Stalker who led the rescue team that went in to bring Snake Eyes home, but during the op, Stalker was badly injured by Xamot and Tomax. Snake Eyes had to take lead for the extraction, but luckily he made it out. Stalker was injured, but he made it. Just a few issues later, in fact issue 61, Stalker was captured and held in prison camp in Barovia. The story went from issue 61 to special mission issue 6. It was a nasty place, and he also had Quick Kick and Snow Job with him during the experience. Outback was able to escape and let them know what happened, and so this was the mission where Scarlet and Snake Eyes faked their deaths so they could carry out an unsanctioned rescue mission in country. country. We talked about this in the Flint video and the Scarlet video and the Snake Eyes video. Flint was angry at them for doing this and not letting him in on their plans, but it was all because they cared. And they told him as much. Later still, Snake Eyes was captured again by the Baroness and held in New York City in the Cobra Consulate building. Stalker went in with Storm Shadow to rescue him. Once rescued and with Scarlet dying, Snake Eyes went back into Barovia to rescue an intel asset, but it turned out to be a setup. The Jugglers, which are that shadowy cabal of generals that operate outside the law and outside of oversight, had set them up. He escaped arrest, but the team was being hunted down by the Night Creepers. Stalker was still with the team when the Marvel run on Volume 1 ended in 94 with issue 155, and in fact, it is him right on the cover folding up the flag with Hawk. This is where we learned that Stalker didn't want to worry his mother even more after his two brothers died, so when he was in Vietnam, he told her he was stationed in Germany. He went so far as to have his mail routed through his cousin who was stationed in Germany with the Corps of Engineering. He's still very much around to this day, and we'll talk about it in a second with the latest issues of Hama's IDW continuation of this very same run. So we're going to skip Image and Devil's Due today and some other runs. Stalker did stay in the military even after the Joes were decommissioned, and in 156 we actually find him in the Hindu Kush where he's in a standoff with another sniper, and in a scene reminiscent of the Hurt Locker or Tom Berenger's 93 movie Sniper. There was one sniper who took out Stalker's teammate, so Stalker took one out by shooting him right in the eye. He used a decoy to get to the other sniper that he beat, and he managed to convince that guy to tell Cobra Commander Stalker's dead. Stalker's action figure is featured on the photo cover for issue 173, and by 176 he decided to take some leave time. A couple issues later, he's on a cargo ship in the middle of a conflict between the Vipers and the Blue Ninjas. Pretty cool. By issue 201, the old pit's reactivated, but Stalker's reluctant to go down because there are, quote, too many ghosts, too many memories, end quote. In issue 206, it's Scarlet, along with Stalker, who offers Sean Collins a spot on the team, and Sean becomes a focus for quite a while in the series. In issue 214, for Snake Eyes' funeral, which basically saw a roll call of all the Joes serving, Stalker was present for the ceremony. Issue 229, Stalker took a trip to Brooklyn to visit his family. Apparently they moved there from Detroit. This is where his mom, Vera, and his dad, we call him Mr. Wilkinson, and his aunt Mavis are. A few issues later, the team, Stalker, Storm Shadow, Scarlet, and Sean Snake Eyes, head to Japan and try to find Don of the Arashikage. Issue 250 is where Storm Shadow calls him Lonzo, and he calls Storm Shadow Tommy, and I don't think it's happened before this issue 250 where they use those names for each other. In the next issue, Stalker was a feature of the resurrected G.I. Joe Special Missions, came back after a long time. In my Scarlet video, we talked about issue 255 and how a guy in Harlem gave Snake Eyes his latex mask, right? You remember that? Well, what I didn't tell you is that it was Stalker who gave Snake Eyes his all-black fatigues, which, his loadout aside, defines Snake Eyes' iconic look. And Stalker's still around to this day as a presence on the team, and he'll be in this new All Hands on Deck event that is kicking off and will run through the end of 2019. And where will Stalker's story take him into 2020? Potentially into the Snake Eyes movie? We'll have to stay tuned. Stalker's first Sumbo appearance was in the first part of the Mass device. He was testing the Sky Strikers out when Cobra attacked. In another series, he was involved in Operation Dragonfire, and he showed up here and there, but not a whole lot. And let's not forget the 1985 G.I. Joe computer game. Stalker was one of the original action figure wave from 1982, the infamous Straight Arm series. In Argentina and a couple other South American countries, he was named Cheetah. 2002, Stalker became a Sergeant Stalker on his card backs, and for all your windsurfer missions, you could hook up a Manta for him, and later a dang old kayak. He was also part of Alpha Team for Operation Freedom. And in that vein of freedom, in the spirit of the franchise, in a brand that stands up for representation, justice, inclusion, freedom, Stalker was a first of many to come, and is true to the spirit of the teams. Oh, by the way, that's a clue to the focus of my next video, so stay tuned. But that's it for this one, my friends. As always, I look forward to your thoughts, comments, questions, and corrections down below. Feel free to subscribe to be a part of all of our videos, new and old, and share this with your friends. It helps you, helps me, and as I always say, it helps the algorithm. I'm Jesse, this is JLS Comics, and I'll see you soon.